share with you under this title. Prayer helps with everything in life. That is why we need to pray every day. This is a message that I have received on the 15th of August 2022. Prayer helps with everything in life. That is why we need to pray every day. If you want God to use you, you need to pray. If you want God to lead your family, you need to pray. If you want God to be part of your church, you need to pray. If you want God to be part of your company, you need to pray. If you have a gift of healing, you want that gift to move to another level, you need to pray. If you have a gift of prophecy, you want the gift to move to another level, you need to pray. If you have a big dream, big vision, you want that dream to come to pass, you need to pray. That is why the book of Proverbs chapter 16 verse 3 it says, commit to the Lord whatever that you do, your plan will succeed. Now, I want us to look at the beginning of time. When God created a man, He gave him a dominion here on earth. He said, let them have dominion here on earth. But when Jesus came, He teaches disciples to pray this prayer. Let your kingdom come, let your will be done here on earth as it is in heaven. So, for the will of God to be done here on earth, it needs a permission from you and I, because we've been given dominion here on earth. If you don't pray, I don't pray, we're not gonna see the will of God be done here on earth. So you need to pray, I need to pray, so that the will of God will be done here on earth. Even in your life, you need to pray for your life every day, because God cannot come and use you any way He wants you. He needs your permission. So when you pray, you allow the will of God to be done in your life. Because remember that you are here for assignment, and there are challenges that is against your assignment. So for you to fulfill your assignment, you need to pray to go safely to every challenge that you're gonna face that is against the purpose of God about your life. Look at the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 36. Jesus said, pray that you will go safely through all those things. That means we need to pray. That is why today I'm saying this. Prayer helps with everything in life. That is why we need to pray every day. Look at the book of Matthew chapter 26, verse 41. Jesus said, pray that you will not fall into temptation. That means prayer will save you from temptation. Temptation will come, but because of prayer, you will make it. The prayer that you're praying right now, you may not see the result immediately, but the prayer, it will save you to the challenges that you're going to face tomorrow. So don't stop praying, because prayer helps with everything in life. That is why we need to pray every day. So prayer will make you go where other people cannot go, reach where other people cannot reach. Check the people who are used by God today, who are performing miracle. It is because of a prayer. People who are used by God in the Bible, it is because of a prayer. Look at Jesus. After He sent His disciples on the other side, He went to the mountain by Himself to pray. After He prayed, He walked on water. His disciples were terrified, thinking that He is a ghost. He said to them, don't be afraid, it is I. Peter said, if it is you, allow me to come to you. You know what happened to Peter. But what I'm trying to show you is prayer will make you to walk in this life differently. Live a different life that will leave many people with questions. Look at the life of Moses. Look at the life of Elijah and them in a mighty way because they had the time of prayer. So prayer helps with everything in life. That is why we need to pray every day. When you pray, you move your gift to another level. Prayer is like you are charging yourself. When you pray, it's like you are allowing what God has put inside of you to start to flow. If you have a gift of sharing the word of God, message will start to flow inside of you. New revelation will start to flow inside of you. I'm saying this because of what I have experienced. Some of the message that I've shared on YouTube, it's after a prayer. Even the message that I'm sharing with you, I received this message after a prayer. But some of you, after a prayer, you don't listen. After a prayer, give yourself a time to listen to God because God speaks. Sometimes you say God is not answering your prayer. After a prayer, do you give yourself a time to listen to God? You need to do that because you are missing what God has for you in store. So prayer helps with everything in life. That is why we need to pray every day. Now, let me share with you what I have experienced in a prayer. Look at that corner. It's where I started to enjoy in the presence of God like never before. I will pray after a prayer, started to see vision. Sometimes I will pray after a prayer, your song will start to flow. But if it was some of you, when the new song flow, you will cast it out, thinking that is the devil trying to disturb your prayer because you are focusing on one thing. You can share the word of God, and God has given you a gift of writing song, but you are focusing on one thing. You can run a business, some of you, again you can preach, but you are focusing on one gift. Look at the book of Judges. The story of Gideon, when God sent him to fight the Midianite, the people who qualified to go to the battle. God said to Gideon, send people to the river to drink water. Those who kneel down and drink water with their two hands, send them back home because they are focusing on one thing. Those who drink water holding their weapon, take them with you to the battle because they're not focusing on one thing. They can prosper on the other side. On the other side, they can cast out demons. They can preach the word of God. On the other side, they can run their business. They can play the piano instrument, bass guitar. On the other side, they can share the word of God. They can be a counselor in their city. At the same time, they can share the word of God. They can run to be the next president. At the same time, sharing the word of God because they're not focusing on one thing. Look at the life of David. David was a fighter like a soldier, and he was filled with the word of God. Today, if you're a soldier, that's all you can do. You don't pray. You don't have time for the word of God. Focusing on one thing. David was playing a harp, an instrument. Today, people who play instrument, bass guitar, leading guitar, trumpet, saxophone, drums, percussion. That's all they can do. They don't pray. They don't have time for the word of God. Focusing on one thing. David was a dancer. Again, he was filled with the word of God. People of today, if he's a dancer, that's all he can do. Lepansula, can you share the word of God? No, I'm talented only in dancing. Focusing on one thing. David was a writer of songs. Again, he was able to hear the voice of God. He was seeing vision, having dreams, hearing the voice of God. He was not focusing on one thing. Look at the son of David, Solomon. He was running his own business. And again, he was a king, a judge, not focusing on one thing. He was a writer of songs. And the songs that he wrote is not the song that you call gospel, was the songs of love. But today, if you are Christian, you write the songs of love. They say you had a demon. Focusing on one thing. Look at the way Solomon, he dominated the world. Look at the way David, he dominated the world. Today, you want God to use you like them, but you're focusing on one thing. It's time to wake up from sleeping as a Christian, using the different gift that God has given us to touch the world. Look at Abraham. He was a businessman, but he was able to hear the voice of God. Let's wake up from sleeping as a Christian, using the gift that God has given us to touch the world, so that the world will know that our God is great God than other God in this world. Now, let's go back to prayer. As I was sharing with you, that sometimes when I pray, I will start to have vision, see my future, see what life holds for me. Sometimes I will pray. After prayer, it will be flowing of the new souls. Sometimes I will pray. After prayer, it will be the revelation of the message that I need to share. Sometimes when I pray, it will be the new ideas that will prosper me, that I need to write down. Don't be surprised of what I'm going to become tomorrow, because I'm not focusing on one gift that God has given me. Some of you, after prayer, God has been giving you ideas that were supposed to prosper you, but you are focusing on one thing. During this corona, people who are not born again, who are using different gifts that God has given them, they didn't struggle the way you have struggled during this COVID-19. But you who are praying God of all the ideas, you have experienced a serious struggle. But God, when you pray, He answers you with idea, but you are focusing on one thing. It's time to wake up from sleeping, using different gifts that God has given us to touch the world. Let's continue to pray. After prayer, listen to God. Pay attention to what God is bringing to you. Use every gift that God has given you to touch the world. Let's continue praying, because prayer helps in everything in life. That is why we need to pray every day.